Now I'm going to be tying a Paraloop spinner or Gnat pattern. This here's a fly I tie for a friend in Ireland. Basically the Paraloop style presents the fly really well. The hackle I'm using is quite an expensive hackle. It's actually a Coq de Leon, but you could use a Speckled Badger if you don't want to use this feather, or whatever feathers you like to use in your Gnat patterns or spinner patterns. Now it's quite an easy enough fly to tie, except for the Paraloop, but it's straightforward enough though. The hook I'm using is, this is a size 10, it's an all-purpose medium, full and mill hook. Thread, uni thread, 801 black. Now to get my proportions right, I'm going to start the thread about just slightly more than halfway up the shank, and then wind down. This is for the body. To take the thread to the back, remove the waste piece, just to the basically in line or just slightly by the barb of the hook. The tail fibres are dyed black pheasant tail. Now you could use any other fibres. Now just going to bring these 90 degrees from the stem, tips all lined up. Tail length, around about twice the shank. Tie them on the top, come underneath just to lift the tail fibres. And then I'm going to split them by basically doing a figure 8 through them. Ignoring the centre fibre, and bring the thread on my side through, do a turn to lock it in. Just say ignore this middle one, take the thread to the far side, turn through and lock it in. And that there should hold them apart. Get them to sit the way you want. Just get them to a nice wee curve in them. Now you can protect these. Now I've got a light UV resin here. What I'm going to do is just put a wee drop on each tail, and then I'm just going to lightly rub it with my fingers onto the fibre, and this will protect the pheasant tail and make it last that wee touch longer. And then I'm going to set it. And it's just a very light coat, don't need a lot. Don't want blobs of resin on it. And the resin I'm using is a light resin by basically Bug Bond, which is it's a quite flexible as a resin, so as you can see it doesn't lose its natural look. Trim this away. The rib of the fly I'm using an extra small black wire. This one's, you can see, is a UTC version. It's black. Use brown if you want as well. Then we tie this the full length of the body. Oops. Catch it on. Then we tidy up at this point by taking the thread up, tying in the waist ends of the tail and the wire. A nice body to tie on you. Now I'm going to use an HD foam for the body. Now the foam is this one. This just comes as a block. This one here is from a company called Wapsi. It's an HD foam or high dense foam. Now I cut them into cylinders for tying sort of boobies. Now this is the medium size, and I've just slightly stretched it to give it a stretch. And then I'm going to cut it in half using my scissors. Just run it out the middle. Now the reason I'm doing this is I want a round end and a flat end. The flat end is tied onto the hook. So there we are there. Now cut it into a nice point, so I want the body to taper. So I take the thread to the back. Just before I get to the tail, tie it in. Now the flat side is on the top. Then wind up. Now what's going to protect the body obviously is the wire, but as well I'm going to put a tiny bit of super glue on the thread turns. And then wind up. With the curved side on the top, just slightly stretch it. And then as we wind up, just form a tapered body. You see it makes a nice body, and then across the foam, 2 or 3 turns in. Just lightens the hook, keeps it on the surface where you want it. Give a wax on my thread at this point, make sure this is tied on. And then bring the wire up. Now, this first turn is not on the pheasant tail fibres, it's on the foam, don't want it on the fibres. You can cut into it if you do that. And then just wind up, just ribbon the body, and then tie off. Just tie it on and tie off anyway. Bend and break away the wire. You can see the sort of body you get. Nice body on there. Now for an aiming point or a sighter, I'm going to use you can use either white or grey. In this case I'm using grey. I'm using the Aero wing. Single strand just or so over the back. Oops. Just cutting it to length. Looking for a wing at a length round about this. Just round about the body length there, just the back of the hook. So on top, try and keep the bolt down. Wax on my thread, tidy this area up. Now I'm going to then carry on up with the thread, just short of the head, come back down. Make sure that it's starting with the body. And as I say, that there's just as an aiming point, so you can see the fly. It will help see the fly a wee bit from distance. The fish will not see it, but it adds to the float, to help float the fly. Skink it up. Now, to form the paraloop, or for the wing, I use a homemade gallows tool. This is from an old paint pot, elastic band, and this is a hook used for electrical, just for grabbing. Now, I can fit it onto the side of my vise. Now, first thing we do is tie in the hackle. Now, the hackle, you see, is the cock dolly on there. To get the size, put the centre of the stem in the middle, and that will give you the wing length. Now, they are different size or different lengths, so you've got to, I look through them to get the smallest one, or the one to suit anyway the size of the fly I'm tying. First thing I do is remove some of the rubbish at the bottom, reveal the stem. Just tie it on the top. The front of the hackle is on top here. It's important that you tie this on nice and tight, so down the shank, come back up. That's it tied on. Now when you form the loop using the Aero wing in black in this case, you could use the grey if you want. I'm just using the black to keep with the colour of the hackle. A couple of turns on the tip. There's the other side. Tie that in, so we're forming a loop with the Aero wing. Nice and tight. Make sure it's going to be the area where you want it to start. It's the beginning of the thorax in this case. Now I'll bring down a wee attachment. Now, so you could use the gallows tool instead of using this. Use what you have. There we are. Now, form the paraloop. What I do is just you take the hackle up and back down. Start off with the longer fibres at the back, and then wind up. You know, you need this to be the length of the thorax, so you want it to reach just before the head. So then you come back down. To get enough hackle on. I just bring the tip down, fold these fibres back, like a split in them, and then what I do is just pinch the hackle and the paraloop just to hold it, and then come round. Don't worry if you catch the odd fibre, secure in the hackle, then trim away. Should even split there. Just going to tidy the thorax area up, ready to tie in. Now you could use a dubbin. Now I'm using a dyed black Peacock Herl, so any black dubbin should do it. Peacock Herl, I just like the shine off it, it's really nice as a dyed. I dyed this myself, so need 2 strands. Just tie it in by the tip, and I'm going to line the tips up. come in, draw back the fibre so you don't catch any. Make sure you start at the beginning of the thorax, take the thread back up. I'm just going to moisten my fingers here to hold these back at this point. But we build the thorax up by just basically taking the herl up and back down and back up. I like a good thorax on these flies. Just take your time when you're doing it. It's fine. Cross your thread, 2 or 3 turns in. Now to protect the herl, just hold back the fibres, take your thread turns up, wide turns and back down, and break that away. And then we're ready to bring over our paraloop, so we loosen off the gallows tool area, and then pull this over. Any fibres going forward, just draw them back. Then basically pinch a loop on the Aero wing, then tighten up nice and tight. Now I fold this back, that's why I only use like a single strand, it's much easier, don't have to use it too heavy. Fold this back, form a nice head with the thread, keeping the thread always tight, and we can come in, flip finish. Trim away with thread, trim away with our Aero wing. Just come in. Doesn't have to be perfect, it can be slightly, you can leave a wee bit if you want. And then we can then spread these fibres. Get them evenly split. Now, to encourage them to sit like a spinner, I'm going to use a resin to hold them down, hold them apart. So if you can see there, it'll sit there. Now I'm going to take away the gallows tool. Just gives me a wee bit more room. Sure, there's a nice even split. See there, and then I'm going to use my resin again. So run it along the centre, basically onto where your paraloop, where you formed the paraloop. Now you need the light resin. Now to encourage it to seep in, just stretch it. Just pull the fibres apart, and this will allow it to sit into the turns. Just like that, and then we can set the resin. That makes it, protects it really well, and holds the fibres where you want. There we are. Then we can varnish the head all the way around. As I say, you don't need to use the Coq de Leon. I'm just tying these for a friend, so, and he likes the way it's tied. It's got a lot of fish on it, so make sure the eye's clean. There's lots of tying methods in there, there's lots of wee tips. But that's the Paraloop spinner or Gnat. Basically with the foam body, helps it to sit right in the water. The colour you get off the Coq de Leon is amazing, like you get enough, that supports it, and it does make a difference if you use the resin through there. So hope you enjoyed that.